Hagel, and the steps in the sales process, or the 7 steps in the sales process. My goal is to put this together and do this all in 10 minutes. So here we go. So there's 7 steps in the sales process. The first step is prospecting and qualifying. So I'm going to distinguish the difference between a lead and a prospect. A lead becomes a prospect after they're qualified, and a prospect is a lead that is ready, willing, and able to buy. Number 2 is your preparation and approach to your customer once you've identified him through your prospecting process. I did a video on prospecting, maybe check it out. So do your homework. Who are they? Where do they operate? How big is their fleet? And what do they have? And what do they have in it? So in my experience, the equipment I work with is typically truck and trailers, and they're equipped with specialized equipment for doing oil field service. So it's important to know what they've got in their fleet, because a lot of times, especially if you're dealing with controls, it has to communicate with the rest of the fleet. The other thing is export compliance. A lot of my customers are international customers, and we had to be careful that we weren't selling to embargoed countries or countries that had trade restrictions. And the people will try to fool you. I've had people contact me, and their home address was in was just a little house down a regular old street, and they were trying to buy $1 million equipment. So I looked them up. It's one of the first things you do. You look up your customer. Who are they? Where do they live? Find their address. Find their website. Look them up on LinkedIn or whatever social media you have access to. Maybe I should have backed that back up into prospecting and qualifying, but none of these steps are 1, 2, 3. This one, you do this one, and then you do this one. You might do this one, then go back and do this one, and back and forth. I'll try to explain that a little more. Third is your approach. You approach the customer. This is your chance to make a first impression, introduce yourself, establish a rapport, ask questions, sell options and upselling. In my experience, upselling is a process that happens throughout the project, right from the initial sales, getting the contract signed, right to and after delivery, testing and delivery. The field hands will come in and they'll want changes, and you'll make changes if the management allows, if their management allows. And you're constantly trying to upsell. Your presentation. In my case, my presentation was typically a technical specification and a quote. That's not to say we don't do presentations. A lot of times I prepared presentations for customers to help them explain different options or different control strategies. So you're constantly doing presentations. You may be doing presentations up to the last day before delivery and asking questions. Overcoming objections. This one, so some typical expectations I've come across. My price is too high. A competitor can beat your pricing. So some of my suggestions for that is leave some room in your budget for negotiation. Emphasize your quality, reliability, your experience. Be prepared to move on your price if you have to. Lots of people will ask you to go sharpen your pencil. And this is it. It's a chance to understand your customers' needs and respond to them. Understand them better and respond. You might have something in there they don't need. and having and carefully going through them with the customer. That's the presentation itself is important, and sometimes I'm going to talk about your price is too high or a competitor can beat your pricing. There are people out there that can beat your pricing. For example, I had a chem van, a chemical transporting and mixing van that came in. It was getting on 10 to 15 years old. It was all beat up, pretty beat up. And they wanted to put new doors, take doors off, change it, some major structure on the van body itself, and that wasn't the thing we did. And I actually was challenged because to do some of the work, I had to buy the panels from my competitor. So there was really no way to win that, and not on price. I could have gone down and tried to meet my competitor's pricing, but I wouldn't have made any money. My company wouldn't have made any money. My people would have been discouraged and angry because they know I put them in a bad deal. So sometimes you can't win them all. Pick and choose your battles. Closing the sale. Time is of the essence. Everybody's got a schedule. Everybody's got things they need to accomplish and get done. If somebody needs a piece of equipment at the end of Q3, that's what they tell you. Let's say you're closing up on the end of Q4 and they're hoping to have a piece of equipment brought in for some work and turned around and have all that work done by the end of Q3. If you've got a long lead item, you can leverage lead time on materials and the scarcity of your production slots. So if I've got a piece that I need for that project that takes 3 months to deliver, if I don't get a purchase order till after New Year's, that's when the clock starts on my production. Actually, I can't finish that job. I need that piece of equipment at least 2 or 3 or 4 weeks before delivery. So you can leverage your lead time on your materials and your scarcity of production slots. Something about leveraging lead time on materials is that you need to know, that I share with my customers right away. One of the first things when I put a proposal for is I figure out how long is it going to take me to get all my parts in. And then you work with production to figure out how much time it's going to take once you have all your parts in. But leveraging lead time and scarcity of production slots are a good way to help your customer make a decision. Because if you can tie it to a schedule, then it really helps. Don't make promises that you can't keep regarding delivery. These guys are coming to you, so a customer, he's coming to you and he's been given a big responsibility. He's been given a job to spend a bunch of his company's money, and there are people watching and they expect him to deliver as well. They're not looking at us so much as they're looking at us as a manufacturer. His managers are looking at him and his capability. So you screw somebody over by delivering late, you're going to have bad feelings. You may be the only manufacturer, and sometimes that person's not going to be able to purchase from anybody else, but he's going to be mad, and he's going to be mad forever. Follow-up. Follow-up is a constant thing in my industry. Follow-up really starts right after the purchase order is signed. And you're following up with production dates. I don't make a promise to any customer. Maybe don't make promises. I don't make a promise to a customer until I've got a purchase order in hand. I've seen customers come to you and say, can you deliver it middle of I can or no, I can't. If you can get the parts there and you can get your production done, you can. But if you make a promise without that PO, they're going to hold you to that promise. And it might take you 2 or 3 or 4 weeks or longer to get a PO. And man, that's time you just can't make up. So don't make those promises. Da-da-da-da. So again, following up through production tours. Production tours are awesome. I love taking guys around the shop, especially field hands. They're going to see something on my equipment or the stuff I've got going together on the shop, and it's shiny and it's blingy and it's nice and practical. Maybe those words aren't great, but practical. It's helpful, and they see that, and they're like a 5-year-old pulling on their daddy's pant legs. I want that, and those guys will sell it for you. Commissioning again or testing, another chance to interact with the customers. Follow up. Let them know when testing's happening. You're arranging people. They got to arrange people, so give them lots of heads up. If you've got a good project management, I didn't necessarily always have to line that stuff up, but sometimes I did help. And then commissioning and post-delivery follow-up. I love post-delivery follow-up. It's a chance to talk to about how that equipment's running. I love getting good news. This unit's done its first job, no problems. That was great. This unit's done its first job. We had a problem. And then I get my people on it and we fix it for them. And that's follow-up. And I'm a little over. I'm going on 12 minutes, so I don't think I did too bad. Thanks for your attention. Again, questions, comments. I love questions and comments, and I like talking about building equipment and technology. Have a great day. Bye-bye.